This is Public Access Lost Transmissions Part 13. We are picking up the game after a pretty long hiatus, and so a little bit of today is just going to be getting reoriented to the campaign, kind of remembering where we were at, kind of what was going on. We will play through maybe a couple of shorter phases, but we will try to get through the whole cycle just to kind of feel things out. The last thing that happened, though, is the characters completed the Serpents and Sepulchres adventure and faced down the Crypt Master, who turned out to be the People's Champ, and have resolved Greetings, Travelers. You've also resolved Zagreus, and so you have one active mystery at this time, which is On Strange Wings, which we have not seen a lot yet. But I do want to say that I owed Amber a little bit of information about accessing parts of that mystery. And what I will say, Amber, is that you now know where the entrance to Los Ojos de los Muertos are, the caverns, where we think these alleged winged creatures roost. And so you won't have to do any extra like hunting or special things to access them. You can just go there whenever you want. So you have access to those. Taking a look at the mysteries themselves, or just kind of what's going on in general. We do have On Strange Wings. We have a question right now. What are these flying things, the Deep Lake Devils? Are they terrestrial or are they from another planet or dimension? That is a complexity 4. When we start, I may just reintroduce this mystery since it's been a little while since we've touched it. And in terms of the overall campaign, we currently have watched 6 Odyssey tapes. And so that's where that stands. You don't have any Odyssey tapes left to watch, though. So that's just something to be mindful of. And the Latchkeys themselves, we have quite a lot of conditions on the table here. Amber has 2, Taylor has 3, Shane has 1 right now. And so that's something to be mindful of. And what else do we want to... Oh, Shane, you have that little prophecy of a fellow Latchkey's demise, I believe, is still active. So that's something to think about.
Oh,
Unless you use that. I don't remember. Did you use that, Shane?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The little like prophecy of a fellow Latchkey's demise that you learned from Zagreus in a future scene when another Latchkey's getting
I
ready to take an
don't
action.
think I have.
I don't think you
No.
have either. Yeah. So that's the thing that's there. We have another little story thread with Uncle Joe, who is has some sort of relationship with Atafoy 85, nay Renita. We don't quite know what's going on there. I think Amber thought that Joe was in danger, but it seems like maybe not, and we don't know quite the extent of what's going on with that yet. But it is something to follow up on. And I think, oh, and you also have Emily Beaumont as a recurring side character. Don't forget about that. We don't have Rob today, so we will catch up with Zachary next time. Are there any questions about just where things stand before we sort of proceed with the
Yeah.
day phase? Yeah.
Who was Emily Beaumont again?
She was the camp counselor at Pine Rock Ridge.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Thank you.
About how long after our game is it in the fiction?
I think it's probably going to be like maybe a week. Seems about right. Yeah. Okay. Then with that said, let's swing right over into the day phase. I am going to go ahead and just reintroduce On Strange Wings, so we're all kind of like caught up with what's going on there. So just about every rural region has its own cryptid, from Loch Ness to Boggy Creek to the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. Dogoya County has more than its fair share. Few can agree on precisely what the winged Deep Lake Devils are. Gargoyles, vampires, demons, aliens, mutant animals, perhaps bats, birds, insects, something else. But everyone in town knows where they come from. They come from Los Ojos de los Muertos, the eyes of the dead. They are mounds of labyrinthine caverns that lead down ever deeper to a vast underground reservoir of oil, an ancient necropolis, or the literal gates of hell, depending on who you ask. For the past few decades, stories of the Deep Lake Devils have taken a more whimsical bent, blamed for everything from tardiness to distracted driving to acts of vandalism. All of that changed a few weeks ago when livestock around the county started turning up with strange wounds that could be characterized as bite marks. Some insist that a prized calf was completely exsanguinated. With the Nagoya County Open Bull Riding competition coming up, accusations of sabotage are to be expected, but the whole "Watch the Skies" crowd has also come back out of the woodwork. Whatever the actual cause, the results are unmistakable: suspicion and fear. We established, I don't remember how last time, but we established before that we believe that there is some truth to the rumors of these creatures. And so we need to know if they're terrestrial, what can we, or no, I'm sorry, what are they? Are they terrestrial or are they from another planet or dimension? So that unlocks the next question. It's complexity 4. We have done a few things on this mystery though. Amber, mostly. Nobody else has really looked into it yet much. But essentially, you have found a couple of clues. There was an earthquake recently, and there are reports of a mass grave uncovered near Los Ojos de los Muertos. So those are some things you know. I think some places you've seen so far on that mystery is Last Chance Gas. You were there, and also the Saguaro Motel figures into it. Basically, you ran into, well, Amber ran into a potential possible romantic interest, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the form of Nikki Connolly, gas station attendant, and Grease Monkey.
Again.
Again. And also Dr. Isaac Turner, an anthropologist of evil. You encountered him as well. He's around. So those are the characters we've met. Okay, so that's on Strange Wings. But we have another mystery as well that I'm going to introduce. And so I did not paste it in here yet, but I think everyone here is familiar with it. So I'll paste it later. You'll all be fine. It is Slumber Party Summoning Circle. Slumber Party Summoning Circle. Shane, you have a childhood friend who still lives in Deep Lake. Her name is Samantha Harrington. Back then, Samantha was a real hellraiser. Please describe a time when Samantha got the two of you in deep trouble.
Sorry, who was that for?
That was for Shane.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said Amber for some reason. Yeah. Well, Shane was always always been something of a goody two shoes. But Samantha, she sort of brought out something else in her, something a little bit more rebellious. And I think that thing that they were sort of caught and got in trouble for was the sort of classic smoking in the girls' room. Um, Obviously, no one was too pleased about that. And ever since, Shane has avoided cigarettes at all costs because she is terrified of getting any kind of punishment or reprimanded. But she still thinks fondly of Samantha in her own way.
Fantastic, thank you. So Samantha invited you all to her house for a so-called slumber party for adults. You all attended, perhaps reluctantly. Let's paint the scene, everyone. How did Samantha decorate her house to invoke the feeling of a 1980s girls' slumber party?
She found a bunch of old Tiger Beats at a thrift store, and so she's pasted up images of uh, Scott Baio and John Stamos and all the other hunks of the late 80s.
We all got matching neon skirts. The guys too.
I love it.
If there are any.
There's no Latchkey guys right now, so yeah.
I think she got a lot of 80s toys. In particular, I imagine like My Little Pony dolls everywhere.
The slumber party was also attended by a few of Samantha's local friends and was mostly an excuse to get together, drink, and catch up. Samantha did, however, plan a few classic slumber party activities and treats, such as prank phone calls, a game of girl talk, and even gift bags stuffed with Lisa Frank stickers and friendship bracelets. Near the end of the night, Samantha produced something extra special from her closet, a copy of The Crying Circle, a little known board game from the 1980s that was originally marketed as a competitor to Hasbro's Ouija board. The Crying Circle is actually a kit for performing a summoning ritual. It includes a game board that unfolds into an altar, a plastic athame, a cassette tape with discordant music and chanting on it, battery-operated candles, and the so-called Tome of Sadness, a booklet with sad stories and question prompts that are posed to participants as they play. The idea is you set up your little summoning circle using the items in the box and then take turns reading stories and prompts from the Tome of Sadness in order to get participants to cry. If everyone sheds at least one tear, La Llorona, a figure from Mexican folklore, will appear and grant the group a single wish. Samantha set up the game and then read aloud the opening invocation. La Llorona, gather our tears. We shed them for you, O Mother of Sadness. Show us you are near. Then everyone took turns reading from the Tome of Sadness. A question to you all. Which question or story from the Tome of Sadness finally made you cry, if even just a little, and why?
There was a story of uh, two foxes, siblings, who were wandering through the forest. And in this sort of fable, one of them gets caught in a trap, and the older one is unable to save it. And Shane, is, of course, she recalls Ash and her inability to save him, and it's still pretty raw for her.
That makes me cry too, I think.
I think Amber cried after hearing about, well, a story about a little boy who didn't get enough attention from his family and ran away. So he'd teach them a lesson. And he fell into a well, and they only found him when it was too late and he was already deceased.
Okay. I cry at the story of a magic market where they sell all kinds of magic trinkets, and there's one kid that only wants his or her parent back and tries to find them everywhere at the market, but finds out that they can't actually buy a life back, even with magic.
Everyone at the party shed at least one tear. Let's paint the scene. After that final tear was shed, how do we know it actually worked, that you all brought something into the world by playing the Crying Circle?
There was a boombox that was used for the discordant music, and it had stopped by the time we'd finished reading. But after we had finished, the lights all sort of flickered and the tape started playing again on its own, but this time backwards, and we could hear some sort of whispering in Spanish.
part of the game was that Samantha walked around the room with a tiny vial and collected all our tears in that vial, and she placed it on the altar, and afterwards the vial exploded, but there were no glass shards or tears left in the room.
Mm. I think for a few seconds we all felt like crying, but we couldn't.
Interesting. So it worked. Something was brought into the world. One of the party attendees, Linnea Rodenbecker, she actually went catatonic, blank-faced, seemingly unaware of her surroundings and unable to speak. Of course, the party immediately ended at that point. Samantha agreed to watch over Linnea for the rest of the night while everyone else went home. The next morning, Samantha comes to you for help. Linnea hasn't gotten any better and might be possessed by whatever you all brought into the world. The first order of business is to find out what's possessing her. Is it a sorrowful ghost? Or is it something more demonic? That's your first question. It's a complexity 4. And if you answer it, it unlocks the next question. You have available to you a special key called the Key of Sadness, which you can turn if you need to. So it's the day phase. Another mystery has found its way to you. Samantha seems to be not so subtly suggesting that even though the game was her idea, because you all were there when it happened, you have an intrinsic responsibility to help out with what's going on. And she's got Samantha at her place. She doesn't know what to do. She goes back to her place, leaving the 3 of you at your rented house on Rodenbecker Street. What's everyone doing?
Well, I think Shane, feeling a kind of a tinge of guilt, will go to Samantha's house to kind of follow up and spend the morning with her.
Amber, what's your plan for today?
I think she wants to see Nikki again.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Intriguing. Taylor, do you want to try to get some nostalgic moves going here? You have 3
Yes, that was
conditions.
my idea.
Who would you like
And
to go with then?
well, I think I'll go with Amber
Okay, sounds
because I
good.
was kind of planning on asking around the bull riding competition.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
we can do that on the way to.
yeah, that
She
sounds good.
can throw me
Be,
off the car on her way to
be thinking about
Nikki.
what takes one of you back, and we'll have that scene in the car. I will start
Mhm.
with Shane while you're all thinking about that, though. Shane, you have this weird condition that you got from playing Zagreus. I don't know if Shane has any conception of this phrase, but as a player, we certainly do. This condition is called the Shadow Jubilee. I'm curious how that has affected you these last few days. How are you? What does it mean? What are you seeing? What are you observing?
Uh, sh Anyone who's seen Shane last week or so even probably longer than that, at least as long as she's been in Deep Lake, has seen her she's looking more and more exhausted, whereas she had arrived very kind of fresh-faced and awake and lively. She is now, dark circles under her eyes, hair isn't as lustrous as it usually is, and the scarves that she always wears are just kind of like plopped onto her body. She's been dreaming a lot, and it's always the same place that she goes to. It's that court of that shadowy king. She sees her brother seated in his lap, always on fire, and always the skinless bodies uh, writhing around masses of tar-like substances in this court. And it's always the same. And despite the fact that it's always the same, it always terrifies her and keeps her up. So as she's on her way to Samantha's, she's trying her best to sort of blast some upbeat music, kind of like keep her eyes on the road, uh, hoping to sort of just like put on the illusion of being present.
You get to Samantha's place, and Samantha immediately comes outside, you know, she's like she's very, very like, in a state, even more than she was this morning when she came to tell you that she wants your help. She's still wearing her kind of oversized sweater and hair scrunchie from last night. And she still has her kind of dramatic, 80s, like, cat eye makeup. It's a little smudged and smeared at this point. And she comes up to you and she's like, hey, Linnea just left. She just walked, she just got up and left.
Yeah, did someone come pick her up or?
No, no, I went to go like make us some breakfast. I thought maybe some food would help her snap out of whatever the hell's going on with her right now. And I turned and she was just gone. She was already like halfway down the street. I couldn't
Well,
I couldn't get
here,
her to
let's get
stop.
in. Well, let's just go pick her up, see if we can find her.
She's like, you're okay. Well, hold on. Let me grab my stuff. I don't even have my shoes on." And she goes inside the house. Uh,
She'll very kind of like carefully follow her inside and just sort of looking at the aftermath in the living room and waiting for her by the front door.
when you walk in Samantha's house, you see pizza boxes and empty beer cans from the slumber parties still kind of strewn about. Um, there's a Britney Spears poster in a very prominent place. Not an 80s thing, but I think it's maybe a 2004 Samantha Harrington thing. Um, Mr. Max, Samantha's very confused and slightly annoyed tabby cat, brushes
Yeah,
up against your leg.
she'll kneel down and start to kind of scratch his back of his neck and
Let's paint the scene. Everyone, Samantha Harrington never made it out of Deep Lake. What do we see that makes us think? What do we see that makes us think she desperately wants to be anywhere else?
it's
There's
not.
a couple.
No, go on.
Okay, there's a couple of cardboard boxes still folded up and in their original plastic packaging, the kind you use for moving, but they are all dusty and leaning in some corner and were never used.
We can't, it's not in the living room, but we can kind of see it from the living room. We can see the kitchen, and on the fridge are just magnets of different states and countries all over. And they've got like different postcards. None of them have writing on them, but it's just like sort of a visual reminder that there's a great big world out there that she hasn't seen.
So I think Samantha has a vision board, probably something she doesn't just show everyone, because it's a bit weird to cut off your own head and post it on ads and pictures from travel guides and stuff where there's happy people at beaches and in towns as tourists.
I love it.
That's so sad.
Shane, while you're waiting on Samantha to grab her stuff, what do you do?
She continues to give Mr. Max lots of love. But she will sort of start to thumb through some of the refuse from last night, seeing, especially kind of like focusing on where Linnea was, where she remember Linnea sort of hanging out, and like seeing if she maybe left something behind or something.
Yeah, that's good. Make the meddling move with reason.
Does my Shadow Jubilee condition?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
This was a party of sorts, but I'm going to say no.
Let me see if I want to put a thing in here. No. Ooh, that is a 13.
Nice. Very good indeed. You are looking around and you find a very strange thing on Samantha's bookshelf. You know, she had this copy of The Crying Circle in her closet, but she also has like an actual Ouija board. She has a set of tarot cards. She's got a little shelf with all kinds of like kind of new agey spiritual things. She also has on that shelf a copy, a sort of coffee table version of the Codex Gigas, which is the Devil's Bible. That's your clue. As you're looking around, Mr. Max kind of trailing you suspiciously, or looking at you suspiciously. You reach a hall closet, and on the other side of the hall closet, you hear something. What do you do?
It's the daytime, and I mean Samantha's here. Can't be anything too bad, right? She is going to very carefully just sort of open it and keeping a bit of a distance as much as she can, though.
There's a startled movement in the closet, and some coats and stuff fall down. There is a young guy, maybe a little younger than you, sitting on the closet floor, now covered in coats, staring at you like he was hiding in the closet. He was not at the party last night.
Freak! Sam!
We'll come back to this in a moment. So, Amber, Taylor, whoever's takes you back is in play here. Frame up this scene in the car. What's going on?
We're driving at first through the town, not yet on the highway, and there's a group of kids on their dirt bikes passing us. And I look after them longingly and ask Amber, did you ever used to ride a bike, or did you go dirt biking or something?
And I picture her driving in the hearse, wearing sunglasses, and then she turns to you and says, I was rather into skating. What about you?
Yeah, I used to go dirt biking a lot, and it was so much fun. And my dad was always so scared that I would like break my neck or fall into a coma or break my head open, or he could never watch. And well, nothing ever happened. I didn't even break my little finger.
I mean, even
But
if you did, kids, they they're tough, right?
yeah, they are. But it's still kind of dangerous. And I don't know if I would let my kid do that today. No, I probably would. Did you ever hurt yourself while skating?
I did, but it wasn't that bad actually. I broke my arm and everyone signed the cast.
Did you get a black cast?
That would have been cool, but no.
I'm going to interject briefly. As the
Yeah.
car is driving down the road, you see a billboard for a business that's coming up. It's a billboard advertising two-headed mystery lizard, only at Uncle Jimbo's Desert Museum. All right, continue.
There was,
Oh, maybe the kids are going there
I
to
mean,
the
we could check
museum.
it out at some point, you know.
Yeah, I mean, since we're researching creatures and all, it's totally on brand.
Next sign. Are you brave enough to dare the snake den at Uncle Jimbo's Desert Museum? And there's just like a bunch of snakes, clearly lifted from some stock art site on the billboard.
Hey, look, that looks like Adafoy photoshopped that.
Oh, right.
Snakes are cool, no?
No, Edifoy. That's something we should keep an eye out for, I guess.
Maybe throw her into a snake pit next time we see her.
That's tempting.
Or maybe your uncle can help us get rid of her. Okay, that sounded much more sinister than I intended it to sound. Promise. Not planning on hurting her, probably. Anyway, so
Next sign says,
yeah.
grab a cold beer and take a look at the elusive desert fish. And there's like a fish on a wide expanse of sand, just hovering. Uncle Jimbo's
Actually,
Desert
a
Museum.
beer sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
let's get
the
one.
best attraction at that museum so far, I must say.
They had made cold beer. And
Yeah, I'll drink the beer because you drive. How about that?
I mean, I can let you drive.
Oh well, you wouldn't want me to ruin that beautiful, beautiful car of yours, would you?
Probably not.
Yeah, but one beer doesn't hurt.
I mean, if you don't tell, I won't tell.
The last sign. Exit right for Uncle Jimbo's Desert Museum. See the monster that flies from the sky.
Yeah, let's do it. Uncle
Mm,
Jimbo, here we come.
yeah, Amberton's right.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
For your vulnerable move, if you think you cleared a condition, you certainly can, if you want to make a case for one of them. And
Yeah.
you'll
I
also
think
I'm
I've got
a-
only permanent conditions.
I don't think there are that many permanent conditions. What do you have?
It's obsessed with death. That's not permanent, is it?
No, it's
No, I
not.
was talking about myself.
No, somebody's
yeah,
watching.
okay.
Somebody's watching me
Sure.
is not permanent, so you can clear that if you can make a
Okay.
case for it. Yeah. If you
Yeah,
feel
getting out of Deep Lake helps.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but that could be it could be as simple as getting out of deep lake, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going for obsessed with death because my dad was obsessed with me breaking my neck on the bike and
Oh
nothing ever
yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
So,
good, good. I love it. You also get to stumble on a clue if you both want to devise that together. You can
mhm.
be thinking of what the clue is. Shane Wright, this kid in the closet. He is wearing a black hoodie, black guy liner, black combat boots. He definitely smells like he's been hiding in the closet all night. Samantha says, "What's going on?"
I've blown my whistle that I got from Billy James, just sort of like to try and annoy
Just
him.
blowing the whistle. And
Yeah.
Samantha's like, "Stop, stop!" And the guy's like, "Wow, okay, okay, I'm coming out, I'm coming out." And
Sam, do you know this freak?
yes, it's Linnea's brother, Silas. Silas, what are you doing in my closet? And Silas says, "Well, I don't know. I heard Linnea was coming to your party, and I didn't get an invitation to the party. Thank you very much. And even though you know I love parties, I love anything that gets me out of the house. And I don't know. I just snuck in. I was gonna hide and I was gonna play a little joke, but then I fell asleep. And where's my sister?
We're actually gonna go out and try to find her. She left this morning.
Oh, okay. So okay, cool. Um, hey, I'm Silas. And he goes to shake your hand.
She sort of looks at him a bit, doesn't shake her hand, she doesn't shake his hand, but says, Shane. She puts her whistle away.
He's like, yeah. So I guess Linnea was she going back to the ranch or what?
I don't know. Is that, do you think that's where she would have went? And she looks to Sam when she asks that.
Samantha says, I mean, yeah, she was walking in that direction. I guess. And Silas says, why'd she was walking? Why was she walking? She drove over here. And indeed, her car is still out there. I don't think he knows what's going on with Samantha or with Linnea. Samantha says, will you deal with him? And she's like, I'm gonna go get. And she leaves.
You can come out of the closet now.
He's
I
like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, right. Uh, cool. So why did my sister just walk away? What's going on?
um it might be a little hard to explain, but she's just not feeling very well right now.
He's like, right, right. He's like, I managed to swipe one of the little goodie bags from last night. He's got one. He's like, some pretty good stuff in here. Lisa Frank stickers, friendship bracelets, pop rocks. Oh, a sleep mask and slippers. Oh, did you give each other manicures and pedicures? A
Well, you could
dream
have used it when you were
journal.
sleeping in her closet.
Yeah, well, okay. Oh, look, here's some cassette tapes, Bananarama, expose. I think this is a dime bag of Coke at the bottom of the little gift bag.
She looks in the direction of Sam, where Sam was, and back to Silas and says, I don't know anything about that.
So what were you getting up to at this little slumber party last night?
Uh, we were just, it was a girls' night, listening to music, playing
Right,
games. You were
right.
asleep through the whole thing. I, I find that really hard to believe.
Well, not through the whole thing. I mean, I heard you all like playing your little crying thing.
Well, what else did you hear?
Well, I heard Samantha saying, "Oh my God, guys, I think we actually did it."
Right. Well, how did you even get here? Are you,
You can make the meddling move again with
yeah,
presence.
with presence? That is a 9.
And also, because you got a 12 plus on your last one, I will tell you, you see sticking out of the pocket of his hoodie, the front pocket, You see the distinctive purple plastic of a Odyssey tape clamshell.
Seeing the corner of it sticking out, she just reaches down and snatches it from him. What
He's
is
like,
this? Where did you
"Hey!"
get this?
He's like, "I found it in the closet."
Sam,
Oh,
do and she'll crack it open as she's calling out for Sam to see what it's called.
it is one of those tapes that your brother and his friends have been like trying to track down here in Deep Lake, and well, that your brother was trying to track down before he was murdered brutally. Um, the tape does have a name on the spine. The name on the tape is hmm, the name on the tape is Calamity Raccoon '06 Big Bad Pure White Ultimate Highest Level Warning. Who knows what any of that means? He's like, "Do you know what that tape is?"
Maybe. I think it's probably just a commercial for Calamity Raccoon's Good Time Pizza.
Oh, do
Um,
they still have those? Are those still around?
Only in the South.
Right, cool. Okay. So he comes out. He's like, "Well, I guess we'll go get my sister." Everybody's being a little cagey about what's going on, though.
Says the boy who was spending the entire night in a closet.
He's like,
Uh,
"I'm a Rodenbecker. I think by genetics and lineage, I'm allowed to be in any closet in Deep Lake that I want to be in.
what is that supposed to mean?
Don't you currently live in the house that's named after me?"
We renting, but yes, I guess I
So
don't
I'm
know.
kind of technically your landlord in a way.
Just get in the car, and she'll start to make her way out to the to her car.
Indeed. I do owe you another clue. I'll give it to you in the car. Let's keep going with Amber and Taylor. Speaking of clues, did you all decide on what you stumbled on?
So if that
Not
works for
quite.
you,
Yeah.
Natasha,
Yeah.
maybe on one of the signs on the backside, there's a graffiti,
Mm.
and we see it through the rear mirror, and it's like something like in The Shining, where it's written backwards, and now we can read it.
That's good. I like it. Uh, do we want to say what it says, or do you want to hold that for later?
I think it says sacrifice.
Oh, interesting. Okay, intriguing. Do you have any thoughts on what mystery that might be for?
Ooh.
It could be
I, wa-
either,
I
right?
was,
Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking about On Strange Wings.
Yeah. Me too. I
Hmm.
like that as well.
All right, somebody note that, and we'll
Okay, I
pick
wrote
up
it
with
down.
this since you did pull over to Uncle Jimbo's Desert Museum. It stands at a lonely intersection of two state highways. It's just a big old dusty barn full of odds and ends. So much kindling alongside rusted drums of kerosene. There's a cooler full of overpriced bottled beverages and ice cream treats groaning in protest next to the cash register. No two headed mystery lizard, as far as you can tell. Unclear where the snake den is. But let's paint the scene. How can we tell that the overwhelming majority of the exhibits and supposed folk crafts here at Uncle Jimbo's were created purely from industrial scrap and Jimbo's imagination?
Well, there's a junkyard next door. So that's like kind of a big sign.
There is allegedly what is supposed to be uh David's slingshot from David and Goliath. Um, but it looks like a good paint job, but he forgot to scrape off the words "Made in China" off the back of it.
So Volkscraft, right?
Yeah, just like the weird exhibits. Just how are they fakes? In case you're not familiar with this particular strain of Americana, um, it is a thing in the American Southwest on the highways. There are just these like little stores, gas stations slash museums where you go in and you see all kinds of they have all kinds of weird shit to look at while you're buying your Coke or whatever. So it's that kind of thing.
I think there's a taxidermied coyote, and there were wings attached.
Clearly attached to it. Very good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
clearly visible.
Hmm. I think
Maybe
when you walk
pigeon
in,
wings, so it doesn't really make sense. Couldn't actually carry that creature.
you see an old man who is presumably Uncle Jimbo, the curator of the Desert Museum. He has a small, kindly face and a wild mane of gray hair. He is wearing a turquoise Uncle Jimbo's Desert Museum sweatshirt with the price tag still dangling off the sleeve, khaki pants, and Velcro sneakers. And he says, "Welcome! Welcome to Uncle Jimbo's! We've got all kinds of unusual things to see here in the Desert Museum. Oddities unearthed from the ancient sands. Treasures revealed by the bright desert sun, hidden among the rocks. Brought forth, many of which by these very hands."
Well, I sure hope you didn't get the beer from among the rocks,
No.
because I would like a cold one right now.
"Oh, I can certainly help you with that." And he goes to the cooler, and he's kind of like pointing, kind of showing all the different things we've got. We've got some Michelob, we've got some Coors, we got that PBR that the kids are all into nowadays. Um, kind of the various things. And he's kind of showing you all this, and he says, "So, are you two on your way somewhere, or are you out here looking for unusual artifacts from the desert? Strange beasts, perhaps?"
I have to appreciate you trying to make money off the rumors. I have to say that.
Rumors? Rumors of what?
Of strange creatures running around and killing cattle and knocking off vases from bookshelves and stuff.
Make the meddling move with presence.
It's, 9.
9. Okay, so I owe you a clue and a complication. Amber, what are you doing while Taylor's dealing with Uncle Jimbo?
While Taylor's offending Uncle Jimbo.
I'm taking a look around. Is there anyone else at the museum currently, or is it just us?
I think there's like, at the moment, there's just like a couple of like teenage girls, like they've just bought like popsicles and they're sitting there just like eating their popsicle and snickering in the way teenage girls do at some stupid exhibit. Probably like a display of like a genuine chupacabra, which looks a lot like a sort of a stuffed hairless raccoon, that's had little little horns grafted to it. It's not very convincing. Yeah, so what do you do?
I think I'll talk to them, and I'm going to say, so How do you enjoy Uncle Jimbo's?
They look at each other and they laugh like it's something incredibly funny. And then one of them looks at you and says, "Yeah, no, it's pretty stupid, but whatever."
Are you
Whatever.
from around here? Have you heard anything unusual about flying creatures?
They're they're like, they look at each other. And they're like, "No, we're with our family on our way back to Phoenix. Flying creatures? You don't really believe in all this stuff, do you?"
I mean, look at me. What do you think? What I believe?
And they look and they kind of laugh they giggle again, and then they're like, I don't know. Night of the Living Dead, vampires are gonna roam the earth. It's a cool
Yeah,
look. I didn't know goth was still a thing.
I think I'll come back.
My older sister was a goth when she was in high school, like 9 years ago. But it's cool. It's a cool look. It's really good. And they laugh again.
Mm. And I guess she'll take the
I want
compliments.
I want the day move. What do you think is gonna happen if you lose your calm right now?
Oh boy. I'm afraid that
They're gonna
sh-
laugh at you.
yeah. God loves
You're
they
just gonna be
they're not
humiliated.
really
Yeah, I'm
sincere.
gonna laugh at you.
I love it. Roll with composure. We'll see how that goes.
Um, so let's have a look at my stats. Oh boy, that's a 4.
That's a 4. Okay. Well, I think they kind of like they kind of keep going on, you know? They're like, are you like the lost member of the Spice Girls? Are you like spooky Spice? And they're like, there was already a
That
scary there was
that
already a
is
scary Spice. Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, like, I don't know, like pale Spice. They're not very good at their insults and throwing shade, but they keep at it. They keep at it. They keep going. Um, they're like, yeah, you're like that. You're like that girl from the Munsters, like Wednesday Munster. Ba-da-ba-ba. And they're just like going on and on with these little jokes and these little comments. And um, how can you be out in the desert, this deep in the desert, and you haven't managed to get any sun at all? She probably drives around in like one of those funeral cars. Ha ha ha, tee hee. What are you doing during all this as they're just like continuing to lay into you?
I think she'll just say, obviously you don't know me at all, and walks away.
They're like laughing. Ha, spooky spice, zig a zig, brains. And I'm going to give you the condition spooky spice as you walk off. These very mean, kind of stupid, unhelpful girls. Um, Very good. Okay, let's cut back over to Shane for a moment. So Shane, you and Silas Rodenbecker and Samantha are all in your car then?
Yes.
Okay. So they're kind of going, Samantha's just kind of like stressed out or whatever, and she's had a long night, and she's kind of just like, you have to drive out to the ranch. It's like a 20-minute drive. Hopefully you'll run into Linnea and, you know, everything will be fine. Samantha's just you know, kind of like take a little cat nap. Silas is in the back seat, you know, and he's kind of going on. He's like, "Hey, sorry, I didn't. Sorry, I pulled the Rodenbecker card on you earlier.
Yeah, it's whatever. I just care about getting your sister home.
It's just like, do you know what it's like being a fucking Rodenbecker in this town, though? It's a lot, man.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like everyone just like I don't know, like has these like expectations. You have these expectations put on you from birth. The burden of being a Rodenbecker in Degoya County.
Yeah, I hear that. Could you sit back though? You're
And then
really
like I'm named after Silas Rodenbecker, the snake-killing, Bible-thumping lunatic who started it all. Like it's just it's a lot, man. Everyone thinks if you're a Rodenbecker, you're just like this rich weirdo. And honestly, they're kind of right.
okay. Could you just sit back though? Like you're really in my ear right now, and I'm trying
Like,
to
look at
drive.
cousin Dolores. Have you ever met my cousin Dolores? I mean, she should be in a padded cell, all right? Not upstairs watching videos all day long.
And then I think at this point, like as we're on even on the road, she just sort of stops and screeches to a halt. She grips the steering wheel and just turns to him and says, "Sit down and put on your seatbelt."
He's like, God, yes, ma'am. Jesus. And he like puts on the seatbelt. He's like, so what do you don't seem like you're from around here. What are you doing here?
We're up here.
Oh, okay. You grew up here and you came back?
Yes.
Whew. Glutton for punishment.
Just tell me where to drive, where I'm supposed to go from here.
Right? Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Just stay on this road right here.
Okay.
And at this point, you do see Linnea walking up the road. You can spot her, the sort of like pale pink cardigan she was wearing the night before, and her blonde hair is kind of pulled back into a somewhat disheveled ponytail now. And he's like, "Oh, there's my sister."
Yeah, she'll speed up and try to like cut her off and
But then a truck pulls up and kind of cuts you off a little bit. Samantha wakes up and she's like, "Oh, fuck. It's Daryl." Silas says, "My dad."
well, that's good though, right? He could just take her home.
Samantha says, "No, it's not good. Daryl Rodenbecker is the biggest piece of shit in Degoya County." No offense, Silas. That son of a bitch thinks he runs everything around here just because he's got Rodenbecker money, and the way he treats Linnea like she's some kind of precious little doll. Do you think he's going to be able to cope with whatever's going on with her right now? No, I don't think so. We got to get her out of here.
She'll look back at Silas to see how he's taking this. Like if it's like if it feels like he is in agreement with Samantha, she'll probably go along. But
He's
if he's
like,
like,
he's like, it's fucking weird, man. Like he made my sister do that whole like purity ball thing when she was young. That shit's weird.
ew, okay, fine. And she'll start to like try to speed up to intercept.
Indeed. Let's cut back over to the Desert Museum and then we'll take a little break. So I owe you a clue from Uncle Jimbo. So he's like very intrigued by the fact that you are interested in the Deep Lake Devils. Um, he says, it's really funny. You should mention that. I've got these right here, hot off the press. And he pulls out like a square of plastic wrapping with a t-shirt inside of it, and he rips it open and he unfurls the t-shirt, and it says, "My baby was snatched by the Deep Lake Devils, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt." He's like,
Fantastic.
what do you think? $15.99.
Amazing.
Okay.
Did you draw that yourself?
Oh, it's pretty good, right?
Is it though?
Fine, fine. Okay. All right. All right. All
Okay,
right.
but you can show us the pit of snakes and stuff.
He's like, "Well, the snakes all died last summer, so, and I haven't had time to get the billboard down yet. You're not the first person to come in asking about the snake den. It's on me, not on you."
Damn. Oh, the beer should be on you as well, because we came this way especially because of the snake pit.
He says,
Only because of the snake pit.
"So do you really want to know what's going on with the so-called Deep Lake Devils?"
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. You're
Tell me
you're a
everything.
seeker. I can see that about you. You're seeking the knowledge that's hidden from
The truth.
the truth is out there, right?
It is, isn't it? Yes.
That's right. All right, come with me. And he puts a little "will return in 15 minutes" sign on the little counter right as the two mean girls are getting ready to check out. And do you follow him?
Yes, of course. I text Amber BRB.
Indeed. Amber, what are you doing right now?
Crying. No.
They're definitely avoiding the teens, and I received a text and I think to myself, "Oh, great, now what?" And maybe I'll check out the backyard.
Yeah, you can go around back. That's kind of where they're headed too, so you're all kind of
Okay.
headed around back. That sounds good. When you get around back, there's a little shed back there, and you can both be there. Uncle Jimbo says, "Now, I'll be perfectly upfront with you. 99.9% of all the exhibits in the Desert Museum are just complete bullshit."
You don't say.
I do say. I'm not ashamed to admit that I am a
That's
capitalist first and
something.
foremost. And you got to do what you got to do out here in the desert.
I knew it. I knew it.
But I do have a real thing, and it's in this shed.
Real thing.
Oh, yeah. And he kind of undoes the little lock and creaks the door open to the shed. And inside, atop a little table, you see a perfectly black sphere about the size and weight of a bowling ball, but not a bowling ball. He says, "Put your hands on it."
I put my hands on it. Fearlessly.
This sphere, which doesn't appear to be connected to anything and has been sitting in the shade of the shed, is very hot to the touch.
Huh.
You can feel a crackle of energy almost underneath your palm as you touch it.
Interesting.
Do want the day move here. What are you
Mhm.
afraid is going to happen right now?
I'm afraid I'm gonna drop it. Break it.
Very good. Roll with composure.
What? Yes, 12.
12. Nice. Do you feel that?
I feel it. What is it?
Hey, you can come in too, dead girl. Put your hand on that.
And she takes down
Touch
her
his ball, Amber.
sunglasses.
Touch his ball.
All right.
And it's very, very warm to the touch, even hot in places. He says, I don't know what this is or where it came from, but it coincided with all these stories about those winged creatures. I think it's
Yeah,
connected.
but where did it come from? I mean, where did you get it?
Well, I I have a little underground facility a little bit of ways in the desert. It's a secret. I can't really talk about it. It's not a bunker per se, but it is underground and it is stocked with incredible amounts of Pedialyte and beef jerky, and it can withstand the blast of a 1 kilowatt nuclear bomb
So it's a
or one
bunker.
kiloton nuclear bomb. He says,
It's a bunker, but not a bunker.
well, yeah, it's kind of it is, yeah. There's also quite a lot of
Secret
firearms as well.
underground lair.
Yeah, a lot of firearms. Don't tell the ATF, please. Don't want a Waco situation again. Um, but anyway, I was heading out there and I just found this. So yeah,
Just like on the ground.
yeah, like it was dropped from the sky.
Mm. Can
Wait, so
I hold it
you're asking us
against the light?
to join you to go to your doomsday bunker?
No,
What? No.
No?
What? I
No.
asked him where he got this, and then he went on a rant
No,
about
didn't
the
you say you want to
atomic bomb.
go there?
I mean, I
He
can.
wanted to go there.
If I showed you where the bunker was, I'd have to kill you. So you never tell anybody where your stuff is, because like when everything ends, you're gonna have a bunch of people on your doorstep trying to get all your water. So no.
Okay, that's smart.
I would like to steal this ball.
You're gonna try to take it.
Yeah.
How
we
so?
could frame
It's
it
pretty.
this way,
It's pretty
like
big.
I distract him.
how
I
big
you're
is it?
this
distracted.
this
Oh, that's good.
nonsensical
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
I like that. I think as long as you're distracting him, you can take it. Yeah, that's fine.
I take it.
And I am curious though what that looks like. Where do you hide it so that he can't see you grabbing it?
Well, I have this very loose t-shirt on,
Mhm.
and I just slip it underneath my t-shirt and cross my arms in front of my belly while like holding it with my hands.
Good.
Like,
Very
oh
good.
no, period cramps. Gotta go.
Very good. Shane, yeah, like Samantha's freaking out. Daryl, like, he gets out of the truck and he's like, Linnea, what are you doing? Just walking around down the road like this? And Samantha, like, kind of jumps out of the car before you can even stop the car. What are you doing, Shane?
Shane stops the car, gets out as quickly as she can, and starts to follow Samantha, saying, "Hey, it's Linnea." And she just sort of like tries to get in between Daryl and Linnea. Hey, we're just gonna take her back to Samantha's.
Who are you?
I am a friend of Samantha's and Linnea's, and she just sort of
If
looks
you're a
at
friend of
Linnea.
Samantha's, just turn right around and get back in your car. And Samantha's like, "Fuck you, Daryl," and like that's a whole thing now.
Okay. Hey. Okay, so clearly she's not well. I'm just
What's
here to help.
what's wrong? What's wrong with my little girl? And he's like snapping his fingers in her face, and she's just like blank, just like.
Sh- She, well, she just had a bad night, and girl stuff.
Oh, I I know. He's like a bad night. What were you all doing last night?
She just kind of looks at Samantha to see what she. to see what she's if she's cooking up anything.
Silas Silas like walks up behind you really close, Shane, and and he says, "I'm gonna tell my dad about the coke if you don't let me hang out with you for the rest of the day."
Fine, just get him out of here.
Good. And Silas is like, "Dad, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it." And he's Daryl's just very confused about this whole situation, like what's going on. Linnea is just standing there, slack-jawed, staring off into space, wandering down the road. Samantha is like screaming at Daryl. Daryl is, he's like accusing Samantha of being a druggie and all this other stuff.
Sam, you just go back to the car, okay? We're gonna get Linnea. It's fine. Just go hang
Shane, I
out.
want the day move to like secure
Yeah.
Linnea. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
Just that Daryl is gonna pay us dust and take his girl and go back home.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll with composure.
Let me see if I can add something to this. Uh, yeah, I think so. As we've sort of been going back and forth, I've got my sort of like shoulder bag on me, and as he's been sort of like slinging accusations at us, I'll pull out one of my like YA paperbacks and say, we're having like a book club night with the girls, you know."
Yeah, good. I like it. All right, you can roll with advantage.
That is it. You said with composure?
Hmm.
That is a 10.
Nice. Let's take a 5-minute break. When we get back, I will continue with that scene with Amber and Taylor. They got 12 plus on that roll, so that'll be a little bonus in addition to being able to grab the orb. And Shane, I will let you narrate how you get Linnea away from Daryl. So we'll come back in 5. So I think for your 12 plus on that roll, Taylor, what I want to do is um I think what I want to do is, in addition to having that black orb as a clue, I will also let you put it in your corner of the house as your bonus. We'll pick up with that.
Awesome.
We'll pick up with that scene in a moment. Shane, or with the two of you, Shane, I do want to know what it looks like when you rescue Linnea from Daryl at this point.
So, sort of flashing the young adult novels, trying to sell Daryl on the idea that they were just having a, cute little girls' night reading books. Daryl pauses for a bit, and Samantha goes back to the car. Um, I think that she realizes that she's not going to help, and that Shane's more level-headed approach might be the way to go here. And she just says, she goes up to Linnea, who is still sort of like in that sort of foggy
Yeah,
fugue
she's in a fugue
state,
state. Yeah.
and she says, "Linnea, we got to go back to Sam's. We got to go get the rest of your stuff, okay?" And uh, Linnea just sort of mumbles something.
Mm.
Not sure what she's saying, but she starts to kind of like Shane starts to kind of gently guide Linnea by the hand, and she looks to Silas to go like, "Hey, just take care of your dad while I deal with this."
Yeah,
And
Silas like kind of intervenes and kind of like gets his dad back over at the truck or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and so while the two of them are sort of hashing it out, uh, Shane will take Linnea's hand in hers and just sort of walk her back to the car and say, "It's gonna be okay, all right? We're gonna get you back to Sam's, and we're just gonna figure this out."
Linnea leans close to you and she says, "I met your brother."
Shane's eyes instantly get glassy, and her lips tremble, and she squeezes Linnea's hand tight.
I can see your brother. He's
Stop.
the guest of honor at the Shadow Jubilee.
Hearing that, she shoves her hand away from hers and says, "Stop that."
Make the day move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
Um, she's gonna lose her cool and like I think she's gonna just leave Linnea there.
Make the roll of sensitivity at disadvantage.
Should have saved my young adult novels for this if I knew it was gonna happen. um uh damn. So it's gonna be a sensitivity. It's gonna be a 7.
Okay. You're going to keep it together. I do think that she is going to keep giving you messages from Ash, and they're not going to be pleasant. She says, I I think he suffered. I think he suffered at the end.
Sam?
He watched it all happen.
Sam,
He felt
stop talking.
every cut of the blade.
Stop talking to me. Sam.
I'm gonna give you the condition he watched it all happen in quotes. And Sam, Daryl drives off. Silas and Sam come back, and Silas is like, my dad is pissed right now. I don't think he's going to stay gone for long. I managed to get him off our case, but he's going to be gone for most of the day. He's got a thing out in town, or in La Fresca. What's going on here?
Just get in the car.
Sam is like, are you both okay?
Just get in the fucking car.
Good. And everyone gets in the car. And Samantha says, so where to?
She just peels off and starts to drive back towards Sam's house.
Good. So Amber and Taylor, there's probably nothing else to learn at Uncle Jimbo's Desert Museum. So if you want to get back in the car, you certainly can. Are we still headed out to the site of the cattle mutilations, or are you going to the rodeo, or where are we going?
Well, Amber wanted to go to the gas station, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the gas station. Yeah. Okay, good.
And drop me off at the rodeo.
I like that.
Mm.
Very good. All right. As you're driving along, I think at this point, let me take a look at your conditions. I think at this point, Taylor, because you have a condition called Wolves of the King, you see something that Amber doesn't seem to notice. A boy in a school uniform, very similar to the school uniform worn by those kids that jumped at the end of the I Want My Video Beat Odyssey tape. You see a boy just walking along the side of the road, away from you, like walking in the direction you're going, by himself. What do you do when you see that?
Amber? Can we take the kid? Pick up the kid?
Amber, you didn't see anybody.
Who?
There was a kid?
Probably we've driven past already, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can still see them, but I can't.
You go a little further, Taylor, and you see another kid, a girl this time, in one of those uniforms, walking along the road.
Stop, Amber. Stop the car.
And I think she does, but she's really annoyed because the situation earlier that pissed her off, and she didn't keep her cool. What do you mean? There's no one around.
I jump out of the car. Is there still a kid?
Yes. You see them, they're a little ways back on the road. And you see others. Some are in off the road, like in the desert. Some are like walking in the ditch. You see probably like a dozen of these kids walking zombie like, spread out, looking very much like the kids in that video.
Okay, Amber, you don't see any kids?
I want you to make the day move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your cool right now?
I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown.
Go ahead and roll with sensitivity at disadvantage because of Wolves of the King.
Chemical testing kit, book on deep abyss life. No. Okay, I can't use that. Black orb?
What'd you get?
A 4.
Oh, it's not great. It is
Nope,
not great.
Not great.
I'll take over the fiction since you rolled a miss.
Yep.
Amber, Taylor snaps. Taylor's going on and on about like, don't you see them? Can't you see them? Look there. Look, there's one right there. And you just see sagebrush and desert lizards and nothing else, right? Taylor's freaking out. Taylor starts to scream, I think they're all gonna jump. I think they're all gonna jump. And it's just like getting really, really out of hand. Taylor, are you gonna turn a key here, or are you gonna just have a breakdown on the side of the road?
It is kind of tempting, but no. I'm gonna turn the key.
Instead, the moment is not so intense. I think it's just a quick misunderstanding. Like Taylor sees one thing, you don't. Let's just continue the scene.
That's what we call it, misunderstanding.
Yeah. Let's just continue the scene out there outside of the car.
Okay, I close my eyes. Okay. No kids. No suicidal kids at the side of the road. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna open my eyes and there won't be any kids.
They're still there.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Let's just go. I'm having hallucinations.
Yeah, it wasn't funny when you started it, and it's not funny now.
It's not funny. I'm serious. I'm serious. I look dead serious.
You know, back there at the museum, while you were having a beer and having a great time, I've been mocked by teenagers. And now you're pulling a prank on me as well.
Why would I jump out of the car in the middle of nowhere? How is that playing a prank on you? It's burning my face.
I don't know, you're irrational. You just stole that thing, that painted bowling ball from the Doomsday Prepper, who is armed, by the way.
Are you not curious about the orb at all?
I mean,
I don't know.
we didn't have
I don't
to
have my
steal
testing
it.
kit with me.
I think Uncle Jimbo would say he's not really a prepper, but he does like to be prepared.
I'm gonna give it back after testing it.
Sure. Okay, let's just continue driving. Where should I drop you off?
At this point, wherever really.
I like it. That's a good cut to the scene. Shane, you're in the car, and Silas keeps up snapping his fingers in front of Linnea's face. They're in the back seat, and Linnea at this point she's stopped muttering dark things. She's just now just going kind of. This is just like when we fished cousin Dolores out of the lake. It was just like this.
She's quiet. She just sort of has her hands wrapped around the steering wheel, just gripping it tight. Um, Almost kind of like in an echo of Linnea's sort of dazed expression. She sort of has a similarly distant expression on her face. Um, but when she pulls into Sam's driveway, uh, she'll stop the car and ask Sam and Silas if she can have a moment with Linnea.
Sam's like, "Are you sure, Shane? You seem like something happened back there."
Yeah, I'm fine. I just want to talk to Linnea alone, just a moment.
Okay. Um, Maybe we should take her back to her house soon, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And
We'll be inside in just a moment, I promise.
Silas kind of gets out and he looks back nervously at the two of you, and but also like with a look of weird expectation, like this is just more Rodenbecker shit. And they go inside the house. What do you do?
She watches them go inside to make sure that the two of them are alone before she turns around and she faces Linnea. So you can hear my brother then. Is that it? Fine. Give my brother a message for me then. I'm so mad at you. I'm so mad at you for bringing me into this. I'm so mad at you for getting yourself. And I know I shouldn't be mad because it wasn't your fault, but I'm human and I'm stuck in this now because of you.
Linnea puts her hand up on the back of the seat in front of you. The first time she's kind of moved like that, as if to take your hand. Do you take it?
She will.
Her hand is very, very cold and clammy, despite the fact it's probably like 98 degrees outside. I don't know what that is in Celsius. And she's holding them. It's very hot though in Fahrenheit. She's holding your hand and she leans forward and she says, "I miss you so much. I miss you so much. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss." And she takes your hand and she starts like licking it.
She wrenches it out of her grasp and just sort of looks at her, disgusted.
And she has tears roaming, like rolling down her face. But also she's smiling. She says, "You can join me soon. I want the night move here. What do you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?"
I'm afraid that she is going to, not she, but whatever is has a hold of her is going to jump into me instead.
Oh, it's worse than that. Mm, it's worse than that. It is going to jump into you, and it's going to show you where Ash really is, and that will shatter you. Go ahead and roll with sensitivity. Um, I'm gonna, because of the Shadow Jubilee, I'm putting you at disadvantage again. If you
That's
want to,
fair.
you can get out of the car now and not deal with this, or you can.
Oh no, we gotta go. We got
All
a
right.
ball. I don't think I can use any of my formal suits for this, so I'm just gonna go raw dog it. Um, oh, work diva. That is a 11.
11. Nice. Good. So, Amber and Taylor. Amber, where do you drop Taylor off? I think the two of you are clearly over each other at this point. What do you do?
Yeah, I am picturing we're not talking while driving, and so what's the location? A rodeo?
Yeah,
Um,
Taylor had expressed an
or
interest
farm?
in the rodeo because there is going to be, according to the presentation of the mystery, the bull riding competition. Yeah, yeah. So it's
Mm,
kind of a,
mm.
yeah. There's basically like a
Yeah.
kind of a yeah, like a little like kind of rodeo, like kind of outdoor stadium thing, where and there's cows and stuff.
Hmm?
Um, it might even
Thousand stuff.
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. I've lived in many cities where this is a thing, but I do not go to rodeos. It is not my thing. But it's the Nagoya County Open Bull Riding Competition. They probably have a sign out. You can definitely go drop Taylor off there.
Mm.
Alternatively, you could maybe drop her off at the motel, Saguaro, which is out this way. Yeah.
Do you have a preference, Natasha?
Or just the side of the road. Just-
No, I don't, but Taylor has.
I think
It depends on how
I'll,
petty Amber is, I guess.
I mean, I won't drop you off
I
in the
mean,
middle
in the
of
middle of the
nowhere. So
desert, in the hot desert, would be pretty cruel, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so maybe she drives for a while and says, "Well, I'll just drop you off here at this motel, and you'll find your way, I guess."
Yeah, sure. I will, with no car at all. Thanks. Not everything is about you. Other people can be in distress too. Just saying. So you always make it about you when other people feel like shit.
You know, if you want to apologize, you should start differently.
Apologize for having hallucinations and being gaslit by my friend.
Okay, maybe I'm overreacting, but I think it's for the best if we just. I'll pick you up later here. Is that all right? I think I'll need some time on my own.
Yeah, just fuck off.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Get some alone time since you're all you think about anyway.
And she drives off?
The Saguaro Motel. Taylor features a giant green neon cactus man beckoning travelers with an idiotic grin and a sombrero tilted at a jaunty angle. Of course, it's daytime, so you can't see the neon part, but you can tell by the look of it. It's a classic sort of roadside motor court thing, a U-shaped, you know, or it's like a, that's not U-shaped. It's like a, two-story little, motel. There is a bunch of cars out there. There's, the whole thing is kind of painted in pastel colors. The
There.
Let's paint the scene, everyone. Uh, the neon is not very well visible this time of day, but you can see that the no part of the neon, no vacancy sign, almost feels like a little bit of a joke now. Um, but what gives you this? What gives you the impression, as we look around, everyone, that this was once a popular way station for those who work and live on the road?
There is in the like in the not lobby, but like the reception area. Uh, there are uh, there are different photos of different celebrities who have passed through this part of the country and have stopped to take pictures at the famous motel.
The carpets are very well worn out. Yeah, because of all the feet that walked over them. There's barely any carpet left. Carpet flooring. I mean, yikes.
Mm, I think there's this place has a reputation for being the perfect place to go to have an affair or go cruising. And if you go to the toilet, there might be like a number written on the door indicating that.
So glory holes.
Well, Taylor, you're. I think you might peek inside the lobby, see all this, the little office there, and you do see some cars, and some folks like kind of sitting atop their cars, like drinking beer, just kind of hanging out in the sun.
Mhm.
You hear some kind of like slamming and rumbling from the side of the building, like where the dumpsters would be. Like there's someone in the dumpster or repeatedly stomping around the dumpster or something going on over
Great,
there.
great. Nice.
So what do you do?
Yeah, just lean against the wall for a bit. Keep an eye on the people and on the dumpster area and drink my beer I got from uncle, cousin,
Uncle,
whatnot.
Uncle, what was his name? Uncle Jimbo. Yeah,
Oh yeah, Jimbo. Yeah,
Uncle Jimbo.
I fit right in, I guess. Drinking beer, leaning against the wall, and looking angry.
A woman in a flamingo print house coat, drawn tight around her with a black sash, her hair covered in pink plastic curlers. She comes out, lights up a cigarette. She's like, I don't remember you checking in. Are you one of the guests?
No, I'm just waiting for someone.
Okay. Well, free country, I guess. You can do that. Nothing I can do about it. But if you want to come inside, I've got I've got a got a vending machine. Well, never mind. I see you've got your refreshments for early in the day already.
Oops, what's the time?
It's probably like 1 in the afternoon.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Never heard that before.
Uh, um,
Yeah, not you're not a fan of day drinking.
I'm not here to judge, honey. You do whatever you got to do to get through the day. That's what I say.
It was a pretty shit day, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah. I'm Taylor.
Sorry to hear that. I'm Deidre Hall. I actually run this place.
Nice place. Yes.
No, it's not. You don't have to try to make me feel better about
Sorry.
it.
Yeah,
It's okay though, I
But-
guess.
as long as you like it.
Yeah.
Lots of people go.
It's a very well, this little stretch of highway is not as busy as it used to be. Back in the day, whew, like back when the slaughterhouse was still running, those pig trucks would barrel through here too wide like they was drag racing.
Oh, yikes.
Must have been
Um,
68. One of them actually hit a little Volkswagen bus full of hippies head on. Highway patrol
Oh,
actually
no.
confiscated all my trash bags trying to sort out what was hippie and what was hog. It was the biggest fucking mess you ever seen.
Oh no, speaking of trash bags, I think you have a dumpster. You have a raccoon or something.
Well, that's just Spider.
You have a spider in the dumpster.
No, it's his kid,
It's a very
Spider.
big spider.
Well, he is
Oh,
a big
okay.
spider. It's a squatter. He's no
Okay.
harm.
Okay, yeah, well, thought maybe coyote or something.
Sorry, not a squatter. He'd be very upset if I said that. He is a free climber, dumpster diver, and freegan. But he's also a squatter.
A what? A free what?
She's like, a free climber? I don't know. This is what he says what he is. I have no idea what
I
he
got
is.
free climber, but I didn't get the.
Oh, a freegan.
What's that?
It's like a vegan, but you don't pay for anything. It's like just eating shit that grows on wild bushes or something. I don't know.
And dumpsters.
Well, right, exactly.
Well, sounds reasonable enough.
And then you hear a little konk back in the dumpster. And you hear like a celebration. Woo! Look at that.
I clap. I didn't.
And this kid comes around the corner and he's holding what looks like an old Nintendo, like an old NES system.
What?
It's missing the little lid has kind of been pried off and it looks like it's beat to hell. This guy, he's got a flannel shirt tucked into bell-bottom jeans. His bare toes sticking out from underneath. He's got no shoes on. He's very fidgety. And he's like, someone
old?
just threw this away. Can you believe it?
I actually can't.
I tell you what, this takes me back. I remember when I was 5 years old. I used to have one of these. I wonder what happened to it.
Oh, I always wanted one.
He's like, yeah? Are you into video
Amazing.
games?
Yeah.
I'm Spider, he goes.
I
He
think-
stinks like hell, by the way.
I'm Taylor. I just finished Zagreus, by the way.
He looks and he says,
Complete with
Zagreus?
secret levels and everything. Yeah.
He's like, Zagreus, you mean like that video game that's supposed to like make you go missing or like is some kind of secret government experiment or whatever?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, you're just pulling my leg.
No, I'm not. Was actually pretty harrowing experience. And then when I finished it, the box got fried. So weird.
Mrs. Hall says, if you two decide to get a room, I can help you out with that. I think Unit 11 is free. She goes inside.
Yeah, no, thank you, but
And Spider says, yeah, sorry about
awkward.
that. Awkward.
No, it's fine. She's probably used to people
He's
who
like,
just met getting rooms.
yeah, I mean, unless you want to get a room. I mean, not like that. Maybe we could hook this thing up, see if it
Maybe,
still works.
yeah, but only if you take a shower.
It's like, great reason to get a room.
Great, but I don't have much money on me, to be
Oh,
honest.
neither do I. Uh, do you have any talents or skills? Maybe we could busk.
Mm, let me think. I can juggle.
Okay, that's pretty good. I can do backflips.
Yeah, that's moderately impressive.
Amber, as you're driving along the road, you actually come upon a big suburban SUV. It's your uncle's, and Renita is in the passenger side seat. What do you do?
So I picture Dad driving the opposite direction.
Okay, sure.
Or is it
Yeah, it's
it
fine.
might be easy if I just if they're driving before me.
Hmm.
So what do you think?
Well, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to do?
I'm definitely having a dramatic turnaround,
Okay.
and because help me remind, um, we do know that she's up to no good. She,
Yes. Yeah, she kind of coordinated all the like bad stuff that was going on
yeah, but she's
around
still a cop,
Zagreus.
so
And she was a cop still, yeah.
yeah. So maybe I don't try something too stupid, but I'll definitely try to follow them. Or
Make the day move. What do you think is going to happen if you fail?
we'll get in an accident
Okay.
because I'm
Roll
not so rational.
roll with composure.
Um, let's see. Have anything that might help. No, that's an 8.
Okay. You're driving behind them. I assume you're trying not to be seen.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see through their rear window well enough to see them lean in close to each other and give a kiss.
Okay, now I'm mad.
So what do you do?
Everyone's against me today. They're doing this out of
Yeah.
spite.
Um, I'll honk.
You honk.
I don't care not to be seen anymore.
Uncle Joe, you can see him looking in the passenger or in the rearview mirror in his driver's side mirror, and he like he kind of like gives you a wave, like oh hey, yeah. Then what?
So he doesn't stop then.
I guess he will. Yeah, if you yeah, he'll kind of pull over to the side of the road just to say hi, I guess. Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. Yes.
Then what?
I mean, I'm rather worried and kind of mad at this moment from all the things that have happened so far, and now this, and I get out and say, Uncle Joe. What's
It's like,
going on?
hey, Amber, nothing. Deputy, Deputy, Deputy Torres and I were we were just heading, heading out to go look at some properties.
And you, you're not acting very professional, I'm afraid.
Amber, I'm not sure that's any of your business.
Can we talk privately, just you and I, for a second?
Yeah, okay, sure. And he looks to Renita. I'll be back in just a second. And he gets out and closes the door. He's like, "What's going on with you?"
And I think we walk for a little bit, and she says, "Do you actually know her?
Uh, yeah, we both live and indeed grew up in the same small town.
But do you know her? She's a psychopath."
A psychopath? What are you talking about? A psychopath? If she was a psychopath, do you think she could be a cop? Does that even make sense?
I mean, yes, obviously, because they're sadists, some of them.
Is this is this a whole is this a whole thing about like I don't know like can't we all get along or whatever? Like that's all that was like 10 years ago in Los Angeles. Cops are fine. She's fine. She's not a psychopath.
Well, she's dangerous. She used to walk around with a bull mask on, and she egged
What?
another guy on
What are you
to
talking
attack a
about?
friend of mine.
What are you talking about? Is this okay? Let's back up. I can tell you've always been a very imaginative girl. Even when you were really little, you had a big imagination. And I know you've got lots of dark thoughts in your head, lots of dark, spooky thoughts. You do drive around in a hearse. And I can see how you might be making some kind of weird connections right now.
Hmm. So, I mean,
I want the day
if
move right
nothing's
now.
going on, yeah, yeah.
What are you afraid is going to happen if this conversation goes poorly?
I mean, it's a day move. So I think she'll burst into tears because that's the one person who should be on her side,
Yeah,
and then she'll leave.
I love it. Make the roll with composure, but at disadvantage because of spooky spice.
Hmm. All right. Let's see. Do I have anything? Um, you know, I do think I think what would Anya do? My SNS character. How would she react in this situation?
Very good, very good. You
I'm
know,
going to mark
mark
that
your character
character
sheet.
sheet.
Okay, very good.
So that's an 11.
Nice. Okay.
Keep it together.
You keep it together. You keep it together. What do you say?
All right. Let's just assume you're right. Then certainly you won't mind if I join you. Nothing's going on.
He's like, he kind of leads and he says, we are, we're kind of like on our way to a little private place where
Oh,
we do
gross.
things that adults
Gross,
do.
gross, gross.
I can't really have you tagging along, Amber. I'm not sure how to explain bringing my niece with me, but if it makes you feel any better, we're going to be having dinner tonight. I'm making spaghetti and garlic bread, which I know you love, and you can come and you can have dinner with us and you can see that everything is perfectly fine, that she's perfectly normal, that she's not running around with, did you say a bull mask?
Yeah, but don't mention it.
Maybe it was something for the rodeo, they're having the bull riding thing. Maybe it was connected to that.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Are we making tiramisu as well?
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah,
All
great.
right.
And even though the keeper keeps calling her Torres, her last name in the mystery is actually Toro, which is bull. But
Oh,
he won't say that though. Um, and he says,
I,
"Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
also
Come by
picture
tonight. It's fine.
her
Yeah.
watching us arguing
Oh yeah, yeah,
through the
yeah, yeah,
window.
yeah. Absolutely." And he says, "Are you gonna be okay? I'm gonna go now. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, I'm
All right,
fine.
all right, good.
Take care and yeah, use protection.
Oh God, Amber." And he goes and he gets in the
And she
truck.
winks at him because
Yeah. Oh, very good. All right, let's check in with Shane. We haven't seen Shane in a minute. Shane, where did we last leave you?
I rolled the night move
Mm-hmm.
to save from being possessed by whatever's inside
That's
Linnea.
right. What'd you end up getting?
I got a 10.
A 10. Okay, so how do you resist it?
Um, I think it's just a sheer force of will. I think that Linnea is in the back seat and she's leering and smiling. Her cheeks are tear stained, and their hands are. She's holding her hand, and she can feel the temperature in her flesh drop to the point of like deathly cold. And even beyond that, like I think there's a moment where like the windows start to fog up with like rime, and she can see her breath come out of their mouths, but she just sort of keeps her eyes locked onto Linnea's, and in this sort of battle of wills, I think Shane just sort of shakes out a little bit more. She's more determined to keep her head in the game.
Silas gets back in the car, kind of breaking the spell here a little bit. And Samantha comes, and Silas says, "Okay, so Samantha and I agreed we're going to take my sister back to her room at the ranch. Can you drive us?"
Um, Actually, I think I have somewhere to be right now. Uh, I'm sorry, the days get kind of gotten away from me.
Uh, okay, okay, great. And they get Linnea out of the car. And Sam's like, I'll drive. Come on." And they're taking Linnea to Samantha's car. What do you do?
So part of me is tempted to watch Samantha go and then try to break into her house. Um, does that seem like a feasible option, or is like Sam sort of waiting for me to get out of
I mean,
there?
there may not be too much more to learn at the house, to be
Okay, that's
honest.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
In
I mean, you
that
were
case
there all
then,
night, so
yeah, in that case then she's just gonna peel out, and she'll tail them for a little bit, making sure that like Linnea doesn't, you know,
start freaking out,
exactly.
vomiting everywhere, head
Yeah.
spinning. Yeah.
But when it looks like the coast is clear, she'll deviate and head back to Rottenbecker Street.
Okay, sounds good. As you're driving back, perhaps a little slowly at this point, back to Rodenbecker Street, you'll drive by the old cemetery, well, by the little church cemetery, and you'll see an old woman laying flowers on a grave. you'll see in that same little cemetery a mother comforting her child. They
I
must have
think
lost someone recently.
she's gonna pull over, noticing the church.
Hmm.
She wasn't born Catholic, but she knew about the church obviously growing up. But I think she's gonna pull over, and I think she needs to have a moment to herself. So I think she's gonna go into the graveyard and just sort of like find a bench to cry on.
The church is Our Lady of Pure Waters Catholic Church. It's a Spanish colonial church made of adobe, timber, and stone. There's an ornate brass entryway door, likely Moorish. And yeah, you can sit down and you can have a moment as you wish. Let's check in with Taylor. So Taylor, do you and Spider get a room?
Spider. I don't think so. But
No.
we'll talk.
Yeah, he's
So
like you're just hanging out at a certain point, right? Just sitting on the
yeah.
little curb or whatever, and
Yeah. Do you like live here at the motel, or do you get around a lot?
he's like I kind of bop around different places. I I'm kind of I'm what you might call something of a nomad, kind of
Mm,
nomad spirit.
I see, yeah. Have you heard about like cows being wounded and drained of blood and shit? Because
Uh,
I was actually headed to the bull riding competition.
make a make the meddling move with
Yeah.
presence.
Presents?
Hmm?
Yeah, that's a 6.
Hmm.
Doing great today.
Interesting. Let me take a look at my sheet for a moment. What might be going on here? Ah, good. He says, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. The deep lake devils, big giant bats flying around the desert."
Yeah, draining cattle of their blood.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you hear all kinds of stories, I guess.
Yeah,
And
you do.
he starts to like, the two of you, I think, are like, I like the idea of you, like, you're both like kind of on the side of the building, like where there's some parking spots, and you're sitting on one of the little like parking, little concrete tire stopper things. And I don't know what you call those. And you're just sitting back there drinking your beer. He's having a cigarette. And he kind of like leans in and he says, "Yeah, you hear all kinds of things. Like you just you never know what could happen. There's all kinds of strange energies out here in Degoya County, you know what I mean? A
I absolutely
strange
know what you mean.
electricity in the air.
Yeah.
Close your eyes for a minute and you can feel it."
No, I don't think so.
And he closes his eyes. He's like, "Put your hands up. Put your hands up and you can feel it. It's not weird. Just put your hands up. Close your eyes. Put your hands up."
I
Do you,
squint, but I don't close them fully.
because you don't close them fully, you can see a shadow passing over the two of you. And you hear,
I look up, of course.
when you open your eyes, you see the shadow passing overhead quickly. And when you look at Spider, there's just blood spurting out of his shoulders where his head used to be, spraying you, spraying your hands. And I think we'll just end there for
Just
today.
when I thought this day couldn't get any worse.
We'll end it there. We'll do the night phase next time.
Tell
And
this to Amber, she won't believe me anyway.
we'll do the night phase next time. If you have any keys that need to be resolved, we can do that next time as well. Just remember which ones you have to do still. Let's just go straight to stars and wishes. This was a fun, interesting session. Who wants to
was
go
great.
first? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, back in the saddle, and there was lots of wild stuff going on. I was really into this like paranoia rivalry thing that's happening between Taylor and Amber. Um, and I'm really curious to see how that plays out. This whole beheading spider thing. Um, wow, yeah, party.
Didn't
Uh,
see that one coming.
yeah, nor did he, I'm sure. Yeah, Amber, I felt so bad getting picked on by the mean girls. And my wish is that I need my feisty goth girl back. I need her to step it up. I need her to, you know, she's gotta put them, she has to put them in line somewhere, someplace. So I gotta have that scene at some point. And yeah, Jason, I've run Slumber Party a lot, but I've never played it. So it's very fun to get into it because it's one of my favorite mysteries in public access, probably my favorite. Um, and yeah, it was just really interesting to see the kind of like the differences in the ways people run it and introduce characters. I thought it was really interesting having Silas just being a creep in the closet the whole night. Get that out of here. But really liked the sort of dramatic interactions between Shane and Linnea, and obviously having the dead relative to use against her is going to be fun to continue to play out with. Wishes, I need to meet Dolores, obviously. She is my icon, she's my queen, my diva. And yeah, curious to get us back together so we can kind of like go over everything that's happened, because now it's a lot. We've got beheadings, we've got betrayals, we've got demonic possessions. So yeah, just looking forward to getting the rundown on all of that, and also watching this new tape.
Yeah, I second a lot of that. I really loved that sort of like conflict between Amber and Taylor. That was a great scene. And like it was so it felt really, it was really interesting to see these like characters like just like initially just kind of getting on each other's nerves, and then like then it becoming like this like like sort of defensiveness, and this like defensiveness, but then turned into like kind of this weird like paranoia, like Shane said or like Jack said. And yeah, I just liked all that. I thought it was really great. And this sort of like kicking Taylor out of the car and all that, that was really good. Just good stuff. Really enjoyed the scene between Joe and Amber. That was very fun to role play, as well as Spider and Taylor. That was very fun to role play also. Um, I liked everyone's like answers to the paint the scenes today. Those were really, really enjoyable and good. I really liked the scene between possessed Linnea and Shane was quite good because it was so like intense and weird, and uh, you could feel the entity, whatever it was, like really, really just trying to get under Shane's skin, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, just really, really cool. And my wish, I'll be excited to have Zachary back, and also to see if we're going to watch this tape and what goes on with that. Yeah, so just a lot to look forward to, and I'm happy that we're back. We're back in it.
I second all of that pretty much. I really enjoyed the role-playing scenes today. There was some really, really great role-playing going on, especially Shane and Linnea. Wow, that was so creepy. Really, I got goosebumps for real. And yeah, Slumber Party is also one of my favorites. And actually the only one I've played and GM'd. And I also really enjoyed interacting with Amber, and her just not believing me. That was that was so tough, and I could really kind of feel the characters and their not their best sides, and that's super interesting to see where what they have depth now. And
The characters
that
were all very
was,
like vulnerable today. You know, they were all
yeah.
like very vulnerable, which I thought was great.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. And Zigga Zig was also, of course, hilarious. And the teen girls, oh my god. Like every movie with mean teens, and poor Amber. Just like, I think this was the worst outcome of a dice roll tonight. And for stars, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
worse than
just,
the beheading.
yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, let's just keep doing what we're doing. That's my my wish.
Yeah, I had a blast. It was amazing. I learned so much about my own character because I thought at some point, okay, if you're a goth, you actually don't care what people think and you're cool and tough or whatever, but she isn't in certain situations at least. And I like how yeah, the scenes with Taylor played out and that we didn't resolve it already. So there's something of a wish that we can explore that more, wherever it leads. I really, well, besides the stuff that has been mentioned already, I really enjoyed seeing Renita back at it. And I'm really curious where this is going and what her plans are. And that was just the cherry on top. So thank you for that. And yeah, I really liked seeing Shane being polite at first and then getting angry at Silas for not wearing a seatbelt. That was cool. And then being creeped out by Linnea. So that was something I really enjoyed, having a callback to Ash, and I think that's just such a defining point of our campaign. So I'm glad it's still coming up in a way. And lastly, I just had an epiphany because I thought the clue you gave us was Codex Gygax.
Oh no, it's Gigas, yeah.
Yeah,
You thought that like when you read it originally, or like
yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, no, okay.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's a
I
real
thought
thing. The Codex Gigas, it's a real thing. It's like this like alleged devil's Bible. It's not, but that's what it was called. So
I thought it would be like a D&D resource or whatever else.
it does sound like it though. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any other stars or wishes?
No,
Okay.
but I just want to point out that we enjoyed this session a lot, all of us, but our characters had the shittiest days.
I know. That's you know, it's good though. They all
Does
had a
that
really
make
horrible
us
day.
sadists?
Yeah, they all had a really horrible day. I love it. All right, well, that's fantastic. I'm gonna wave goodbye to anybody watching the video. Goodbye.